everybody. I'm Zayna Allen, and this is Bold Life, where we help you live your boldest life. It's fall, and that means it's spooky season. It's also election season. Now, I know it's no fun to talk about politics. However, I want to make sure that you are exercising your right to vote. I'm not telling you, who to vote for, but I am telling you to vote. It is also a privilege that some of us younger people tend to overlook. The right for every citizen to vote is relatively new in our history. Originally, only white men who owned property were the only ones able to vote. Black men were technically given the right to vote in 1870, and even then several states found loopholes around them to prevent them from exercising that right. Native Americans had to renounce their tribes in order to vote until 1924, and we as women weren't given the right to vote until 1920. Chinese immigrants, 1943, residents of Washington, D.C., 1961, and honestly, I could still go on and on and on. I say all of this to say no matter who you are, no matter what your background is, your ancestors had to fight for their right to make sure their voices were heard. If you have not done any research on who will be running in our November election, please do so. No matter who you vote for, no matter what party you identify as, you still deserve to vote. It's also Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Our first guest is a friend of Bold as well as a breast cancer survivor. Please welcome Lyndsay Christian. Hi, Lyndsay. How are you doing?
Hi, Zayna. Thank you so much to Bold for having me for such a momentous occasion and a very special month.
Yes, and first of all, we miss you here at Bold. We just want to make that very clear. But Lyndsay, I know we're here to talk about your journey with breast cancer. Can you tell us about, just your journey overall?
Sure. So it all started last summer, July 2019. I went to the doctor when I actually felt a lump in my right breast. And after a series of tests and exams, it was determined that that lump in my right breast was cancerous. And so that commenced what has been a 13-month journey to date. So I came back home to Houston and started treatment. I've had multiple surgeries and procedures. And through my journey and my health challenge, I was inspired to create SurTHRIVER, a movement to encourage women to own their health and to really advocate for breast health awareness. So that's really my journey in summation.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit more about SurTHRIVER. I love the name. I love the idea. I know you said you came up with this while you were, going through your journey, but what is the purpose of, what was your reasoning behind it?
Sure. So I survived breast cancer and I'm now thriving in my life. So it's a combination of survivor and thriver. And I really just wanted to create a platform to raise awareness about breast cancer, health, and wellness. Every woman, however, is a SurTHRIVER in her own right because we've all overcome a challenge and we're now thriving. So it's basically leveraging my media platform for a purpose. That's ultimately my goal. And I want to save women's lives because early detection saved my life. And so through conversations, collaborations, and through content, my goal is to inform, inspire, and empower women.
I love that. I absolutely love it. So, Lyndsay, can you give us, some tips or anything that we need to know about breast cancer in the month of October, but really, 24/7? What should we know?
Absolutely. So I really want to speak to young women of color. Young women of color are predisposed and are higher risk for being diagnosed with breast cancer. In fact, the American Cancer Society says 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime. So it's important to do self-examinations in the shower every single day. You know how the police say, if you see something, say something? The same thing applies to breast health. If you feel something, go to the doctor. And that's what I did. And I'm so glad I did it at an early stage. I was diagnosed with stage 2B triple negative breast cancer, which is a very aggressive form that affects African American women more so than white women. But self-examinations are key. Advocate for mammograms if you are under the age of 40. I learned that through my journey that my cousin was diagnosed at age 26 when she was pregnant. So you're never too young to get tested and to get mammograms. Advocate for a regular mammogram, a 3D mammogram, and a breast ultrasound, which will give you a more comprehensive and will give your physician a more comprehensive look at what's happening inside of your breast tissue. So self-examination, advocate for mammograms and breast ultrasounds, and just visit your doctor on a regular basis. Like, truly own your health, because health is wealth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. You know, we were, like I said, we miss you here at Bold, and we love you so much. Thank you so much for joining us today, Lyndsay.
And I miss y'all too, and thank you so much to the Bold family for sending me what was a really warm and kind card at the start of my health journey. Because there's another thing, Zayna, I didn't share publicly until I completed treatment.
Yeah, no, I didn't find out until, what, a year or so later? I was like,
I was actually still hosting, and I knew, but I didn't. I was still hosting at Bold TV when I found out. But I just went through the journey by myself and with a very close-knit group of friends and family, and then until I was ready and comfortable to share publicly. So here I am right now sharing, and with a goal to save women's lives.
Well,
so
thank you. Yes, thank you so much for sharing with us, Lyndsay. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you again.
Yes. October 10th is World Mental Health Day. We all have to work on being the best that we can be every day. So here to talk to us about people of color and their lack of mental health resources is Nasha Clark. How are you doing, Nasha?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, Nasha, it seems as though communities of color don't necessarily have as much access to mental health services as they might need. Why do you think that is?
I think it's just the lack of knowledge, and really not knowing how to educate ourselves. And I think the millennials are trying to change those type of conversations, because I think generationally we just weren't equipped with knowing how to deal with things in this capacity.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think that we don't have enough opportunities to go and get ourselves checked out or work on whatever we need to work on. But I also think that starts in our households as well.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but I want to talk about your organization. Can we talk a little bit about it and what your organization does to help people?
Sure. So my company is Nasha Clark Incorporated. We're working on a nonprofit right now to open up these type of conversations so they're not so tabooed in the Black community. So Nasha Clark Inc. is going to start a nonprofit, particularly bringing a hyper awareness about mental health and how we, I guess, just put that agenda and open up those conversations. So we're in the early stages. We're making some really great strides. We're going to do some awesome partnerships, and I can't wait to be able to speak about it further.
I love that. I love that. So what are some of the opportunities that you've done in the past, if anything, that your organization has done?
Well, definitely speaking on a lot of panels. I have a fundraiser that raised over $3,000 with maybe 10 days notice. Definitely looking to be more hands-on in these communities, and just take this to the next level where it's not so awkward. So just really strategizing with my team in ways in which we can integrate, definitely with a lot of, celebrity backing, because I think that's a great way to start. So like I said, we're working on some really cool things, and I can't wait to speak further about it.
Can't wait. I cannot wait. Now, Nasha, can you give our viewers some tips, or what can our viewers do to improve their mental health?
I think it's about doing what you love and setting boundaries, and doing things that really make you happy, and speaking up. For me, one of the ways I cope with mental health, having lost my brother to suicide in 2016, is going to therapy, which is, again, a taboo in the Black community. I think we definitely should be in therapy because I think it's super helpful. So that's one way I cope. Just, working out, which is something that I'm trying to do and make more a part of my life. Just those little, I think, habitual things that can really change and help us cope with whatever hardship before it gets to the extreme.
I absolutely agree. I tell my friends, I tell everybody all the time, go ahead and get yourself a little therapist. You know what I'm saying? Go talk to somebody. Because, I'm a big advocate for therapy and just making sure, like I said, being the best you that you can be, or working towards being the best you that you can be. Well, thank you so much, Nasha, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. With Halloween around the corner, everyone loves a spooky movie. Please welcome star of the new Netflix film, A Babysitter's Guide to Monster Hunting, Tamara Smart. How are you doing, Tamara?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm awesome. So could you tell us a little bit about this movie?
Yes. So A Babysitter's Guide to Monster Hunting follows the story of Kelly, who is known as a geek and an outcast at her school, and it does not help that when she was younger, she said that she saw a monster, therefore, then on being known as Monster Girl. So one night, she reluctantly ends up babysitting her mum's boss's son, Jacob, and that night, he goes missing. He's taken by these goofy, short little monsters called toadies. And she basically ends up having to team up with a secret society called the Babysitters, and ends up basically becoming sort of friends with Liz, who's played by the amazing Una Lawrence. And they basically end up having to go on this huge journey and this massive adventure to find Jacob, and ends up having a run-in with the cat lady, played by India Moore. And
I love India. I love India.
They're great. They're amazing. And also the Grand Guignol, who's played by the amazing Tom Felton.
Well, I'm so excited to see this movie and see you in it and see everybody, see all these stars. There's so many names in it that I'm so excited about, especially Tom Felton. Well, as I said, I love India more, but Tom Felton, Ethan, I haven't seen him since Harry Potter. So, you know, I'm so excited to see it. Now, you know, Tamara, you specifically have a few projects under your belt at such a young age at that. So what do you owe, or what do you think you owe your success to?
Yeah, I think I owe my success to a lot of people. I think starting off, I owe my success to my parents / family. My parents are really, really supporting of me, and have basically given up a lot to travel with me to countries, even if it be a 2-hour train ride. But they've been super amazing, and I love you so much. Mum and Dad, love you. I'd also have to owe my success to my sister, who is my best friend. She has always been there for me, and she was the person who actually inspired me to start acting. So, love you, sister. I'd also have to owe my success to my agents and all of my team who work and get me the jobs and, you know, do get me these sort of interviews. And then I'd lastly have to owe my success to my fans, because without them, I would definitely not be here. So everyone watching, thank you so much.
I love it. I love it. Now, what advice would you have to give to young people like yourself who want to be in your shoes, who want to act, who want to be on the big screen? What advice would you have?
I would say that the advice that I have is that if you think you have talent, go and share it with the world. And also, don't be afraid to fail before you succeed. It's a really, really hard business to be in, sort of the film and acting industry, even the music industry. So just keep trying, because once you keep trying, you'll eventually land something and you'll become, hopefully, successful. But yeah, just keep trying and don't let one fail let you down.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Tamara, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you go ahead and watch A Babysitter's Guide to Monster Hunting on Netflix, coming out on October 15th. So check it out, guys. I'm so excited. Thank you, Tamara, again for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
September 15th to October 15th is Hispanic Heritage Month. We put together a little something special here at Bold TV to celebrate Mes de la Herencia España con todo, vosotros. Check it out.
We are not one thing, right? You have different countries that have different nuances and even accents.
I grew up in Miami with a Colombian abuela and a Cuban tío.
I came from the slums of Caracas, Venezuela. I made it to the United States. I now work for a company that's, it's Microsoft.
Your mother was the first Cuban-American Republican congressman.
First Cuban-American elected, and also first Latina of any national origin, first Latina ever elected to Congress.
When the industry wants to make I call them Latinas, but one thing, is problematic.
There is a segment of the United States population that has felt invisible for many decades.
You don't really see that on TV that much, a Latina who is brilliant. So it was a cool representation.
I saw that there was this huge disconnect between the Latino culture that we have here, the fact that the United States is almost 20% Latino, and the lack of representation in film and TV, or just the utter misrepresentation.
It's not easy, but we got to move that gap. We got to move that gap so that there's more representation for all of us.
We need more voices behind the scenes as well, making decisions and helping shape this and bringing ideas.
They are in the forefront, making a statement, bold statements, creating content, incredible, beautiful, moving content that are featuring Latino people and people of color. And I'm so proud to be part of it. And I am so proud that I did not give up on my career, because I would never have been able to be part of it.
And that's the end of today's show. Thank you for watching. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook. Get our Amazon Fire TV app. Watch us on IG Live. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Stay safe and stay tuned for more Bold Life in 2 weeks. See you guys.